Stop Motion is a psychological horror film. The film follows Ella Blake, a young woman who is assisting her mother, a renowned stop motion animator, in completing her final film. You see, her mother would do it on her own, but she has problems using her hands. Ella has to do everything for her. And as she's doing this, one day her mother she has a stroke and she's in a coma. So Ella has to move out of her house and she decides to make her own stop motion film. And as she does this, she meets a little girl who starts talking to her and telling her the story of why she should change it and not do what her mother's project was. And she didn't even really have much interest in doing her mother's project. She had her own ideas, but whenever her mother gave her the opportunity to tell her what those ideas were, she couldn't get the words out, or she didn't want to let her mother down. It was something like she was sacrificing her life for her mother in a sense. That's the feeling I get. Like she wanted to live her life and she couldn't. And when she would try, she would come back and she didn't even have time to rest. So she's lived a pretty complex life to begin with. And then when she meets this little girl tells her, you should make your own and blah, blah, blah. And so she starts making her own stop motion. And that's when things start getting really interesting, where we start blurring reality with delusion. And that's why I like this movie a lot. I don't know, that's one of the main things, but also the visuals. This is actually a very visually stunning film, and it's a horror film at that. It's absolutely amazing. I have not seen a movie this good, and not a movie that makes me really think this much in a while. And sometimes I probably say that, but not often. And the more and more I think about this film, and the more and more I enjoy what I saw and what I'm thinking about, the only thing I disliked in this entire film is the very end. But I don't want to get into that right at this moment because I kind of am enjoying liking this film. So let me just keep saying how much of a great film I think it actually is. Yeah, the visuals were amazing. And so I'm going to get into spoilers. That's another thing. So right here is spoilers. All in all, I like this movie. It's visually stunning. It's a horror film in the truest sense. I've had other films that made me feel uncomfortable, and this one didn't until the parts where it's supposed to, which is the gore. And it was beautiful. It was actually beautiful. This is the best fake blood I've seen on film in a while for some reason. And everything just seemed like it wasn't CG garbage. It just felt real and raw. And at the same time, there's parts where things don't seem real. Like in the very beginning of the film, I could have sworn when she's cutting the steak for her mom that was stop motion. Now I haven't looked it up. But it probably was. The stop motion on top of that is phenomenal in this movie. I love the stop motion. It's great. It's fantastic. I can't and then okay. So here we go. Here we go to the part of the spoilers, I guess. Right? She is going crazy from the beginning of the film. So basically, Ella's just going crazy. And we don't even get to see. We don't get a scene where she's told she's having these. We just know because we're seeing everything through her. So even in the beginning, even before that, so that part you see, when she's cutting, you see, I thought I saw CG, and I'm not sure if it was the night before, like she hasn't slept. That's what I'm getting the idea, because the movie starts out with her in a club, but it's cutting through scenes and her face is changing expressions. And I'm not sure that's supposed to be this, because later we go back to a club, but I think this is the beginning, and we're getting this, whatever happens here, it's turned her into something. Also, there's a thing with the egg in the very beginning of this movie, where I'm like, what the and it comes back later. I'm like, what is that egg? Was that like a drug? And she was just a drug addict? Is that what is going on here? Because in the beginning, we see that egg, it cracks or whatever, and then we get cut to the club, and she's looking, and her facial expression is changing constantly within the different lighting. It's really cool. And then after that, I remember when she's with her mother, when she cuts the steak, it looked like stop motion to me, as I said. And then it would go to another scene where later that night she goes out again. She comes home the next day and she doesn't sleep because then she has to stop working with her mother. And then her mother has a stroke, and then she blacks out the whole incident where her mother having a stroke. She's in the hospital. So she's just, her brain, I don't know if it's madness, if she has a mental illness, or if she was addicted to drugs somehow. Is that what the egg represents? I don't know. I mean, she does say, I don't do that kind of thing at one point, so I don't know. Because it's later, somebody asks her, hey, at a club, where she goes, no, and then later she goes back to her and gets it, and then that's when she trips out even more. So I'm not sure. what the opening scene really means in a sense. I looked at the film as she has a mental illness for the most part. Again, I don't know. I can't grasp what the egg represents. I know there's probably people smarter out there than me that'll probably break it down. Oh, subtext for this, that, or whatever. I'm just looking at the film for what it is. I like that it made me think this much into it. Like if it was a mental illness or it was drugs or if I think it was, I feel a mental illness more so, but I don't know. Also, I really enjoyed the when we're introduced to the girl, which kind of like, obviously I didn't know right away. It took like a few minutes because when you first watch it, you don't hear it. But the second I rewatched it again because I did like this movie, and I did rewatch it a second time. And when I get to the girl shows up, the little girl, because like I said, I knew at one point I'm like, oh, it's gonna go here. But even after I said, oh, it's gonna go here, and it goes there, it was well done, and it was very well done. It was obvious for a long time, but it wasn't obvious to her, which is so good when a movie could do that. Like, yeah, we know, but then we see the character realize, like she's realizing it, and then she does it, and it's just great. I'm assuming the little girl was her when she was younger, and maybe she like lost her fucking mind back then or whatever. There's a scene where she's trying to do stop motion with her mom's arm, and that's like the only way she knows how to be with her mother. Is like they probably never even really spoke much unless it was about her work, because she's like this famous stop motion filmmaker. So that was just interesting, and she's going crazy, like I said, from the beginning part, because after she's with her mother and she tells her she has an idea because her mother says the thing's not working, then she can't talk to her mother to tell her idea, so these two can't talk. Then she goes to meet her boyfriend, and then she's her friend is showing her stop motion, and she's seeing what's gonna happen, but then she sees like the stop motion she's gonna make, and then it puts a gun in her head and blows the trigger. I think that's just her already getting fucked up psychologically. So from the beginning, the movie starts, we're in her mad world. That's why we're never told, because we were supposed to already grasp this. But the little girl shows up and she goes, hear the echo, come play with me, come play with me. And I was like, oh Lord, yes. So she gives her this story, and this thing comes to life because of her brain, and then the ending is great. Okay, so the ending is great, but the ending isn't good. So the climax, like the big showdown where shit's gonna go down, and she cuts her stitches. I was like, that's amazing. The stop motion, they integrate certain scenes too, like right before that, and even she kills animals and uses their meat to be, and it looks so good and creepy, and like this movie's great in the visual department. Even this, it's just fantastic. I really enjoyed this film a lot in that regard. I don't know why people aren't sucking this movie's balls more than I am. This movie's fucking great. The very end I had a problem, but it makes sense at the end. Like I would have thought they would come to some, like maybe she didn't kill her boyfriend, because spoiler, she kills her boyfriend and his sister, because they come to like save her because they know she's going crazy, and she kills them and uses their bodies for fucking her things. But her last sculptures that come to life, and they kill her basically, and then she ends up in her box at the end of her little stop motion thing. She ends up there in the house that she was the girl. So it comes out to, yeah. But I thought it would have been maybe the boyfriend comes after her and kills her, or I was trying to think like. But this movie's good just the way it is, but I just some reason I don't like that ending, because we already know she's going into madness. I guess we're just starting out from madness and ending in complete madness, or like going down that rabbit hole into her mind. So she might be alive, she might be in an insane asylum, she might be dead. I feel she's in an insane asylum somewhere, and now she's just in that room in her box like she did. Like, this movie's. I didn't like that very ending. I thought maybe we could get like better closure, but I mean, we followed it through her brain or eyes, really, because she blacks out on things and nobody tells. So she's not hearing it. We don't hear it, but we know it. We see it. Everyone else knows it. They see it. So they're dealing with this crazy person. This is a great film. The director of this, Robert Morgan, deserves a trophy. I want to see this director's next work, honestly, and the writer too. He supposedly wrote this. I want to see these two come up with another film. Robin King. I haven't seen anything any of these have done. prior, so I want to see this. This was I loved. I really like this movie. I can't recommend it anymore. This film is visually amazing. It's visually stunning, and I love the way everything. But it's also dirty. At the end, the climax is dirty and gross and like, and then shocking in a different way. And then not even and stop motion isn't even what I'm talking about. That's what's great about this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 stars. I highly enjoyed this film. If you saw stop motion, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about the movie. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.